Hello guys, and welcome back to the Crypto County, the most realistic Bitcoin technical analysis channel on YouTube. Now, if you're new here, please kindly subscribe, tick the bell icon and select all. Now, today we're going to talk about 3 patterns that are playing out currently in the Bitcoin charts. One of which you're not new to, which is the head and shoulder that I talked about in the previous video. And 2 other patterns also, which one is going to be based on Elliott Wave and the other one is going to be a harmonic pattern. So you can see here in the Facebook group, in case you're not following the Facebook group, please do so. The link is going to be in the description. I was talking about this possible bullish butterfly pattern on BTC USDT entry market. So basically I was saying you can short with a market order and stop loss 45,500 and take profits 37,800. Not financial advice, do your own research and trade at your own risk. So I was giving this possible signal so you can short from here on markets and then take profits around 37,800. Now we're going to talk about this butterfly pattern in this video. Unfortunately, I was not able to make a video on time because I've been busy doing some other things. But then I decided, okay, let me make this video and update you guys on what's going on currently. So we're going to talk about this butterfly, but I just wanted to say, in case you're not following the group, please do so. I also dropped some other 3 signals and you can see people commenting right there, giving their own ideas on what they think is going to happen. So you can interact with this group basically. And you're also going to be getting alerts when I drop videos. This one saying Bitcoin to 34K next, biggest bull trap ever. Alright, you can get alerts from following these channels. Alright, also if you're not a Facebook person, the link to the Telegram group is going to be in the description. Now, we talked about this as a bearish head and shoulder, and our target was, so we took the measured move, right, of this head and shoulder from the head to the neckline, and we got our target around the 35,700, right? But what I was saying with this head and shoulder was that there was no support and resistance around the targets of the measured move of this head and shoulder. So we are looking for confluence, like support and resistance confluence. We are going to look into the support and resistance that we have currently in the charts, and these regions are very, very important to pay close attention to. So the first one is going to be the 33,841. All right, so how did I get this point to be support and resistance? These lines are in confluence with Fibonacci, guys, so it makes it a very, very strong support and resistance levels. So you can see right here that I took my Fibonacci 2 right now from the bottom to the top, and you can see that 0.786 falls exactly at this blue line right here, which is 33,800. all right, the 0.618 falls exactly above this support and resistance line, which you can see also at 37,750. And then the 0.5, which is also playing out to be a support, is also a Fibonacci number. So the green is 0.5, this other kind of green is 0.618, and then this other one is 0.786. Now let's look at them closely to see why they're not just Fibonacci numbers and why they are good support and resistance levels. So you can see the blue right there. You can see resistance on the blue line, support, support, resistance, resistance, support, right? So you can see that this blue line has a lot of confluence, right? Support, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, resistance. So this blue line is a good confluence of support and resistance, which is also around 0.786 Fibonacci number. So this is the region that I think if we're going to get a nice bounce in the future, this is where I think it's going to start from. All right, personally, this is my own suggestion. All right, so now let's look at the other support lines, which is 0.618, You can see resistance, 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 support, resistance, 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 and support. So that's 0.618, which is a good place for us to get a minor bounce. All right, and also the 0.5, also resistance, 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 and now we're actually finding some support around this range. These are good levels to watch, guys. So now that we have the levels that we need to watch in place, okay, let's now move on to the targets that I was talking about. Okay, guys, I forgot this 0 points. This 34,800. I need to tell you guys how I got this 34. So this is basically me taking the Fibonacci extension from the top to the bottom right there to the top again, and that will give us the 0.5, right? 0.5, you can see it right there, 0.5 retracement. Basically what I'm doing is looking for confluence around this region. So now we can take that out, delete that. So what you can see is that this 0.5, which also is the green line, focus on the green line now, you can see that the green line is actually resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, 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 resistance. So this is a very good line of resistance. So this range, basically from the 34,800 to the 33,800, this is where I'm looking for Bitcoin to catch the proper bounce, and that would be coinciding with the targets of this being a head and shoulder. Remember, we're looking at this as a head and shoulder. But now, before we get to these levels, you know the way price moves, it's not really just going to go straight to the 34,000 or the 33,000 range. We might have fluctuations in the price before we get to that point, all right? And basically, we're still going to meet the targets of the head and shoulder, but it doesn't mean we're going to go there straight, all right? Of course, we all know that Bitcoin does not just move down like this. You can decide to move down like this, but sometimes it might decide to, mess around and then still go on to your targets. All right, so that's what we're going to look into in this next analysis that I'm about to give you guys. So now let's look at this as from a different perspective. Okay, so now that we've gone this run up and we're getting this correction, there are different possibilities in going down. All right, so the correction is not over. We're still definitely going to go down, but there are different possibilities to get there. All right, so first of which is, now let me show you guys this parallel channel which I drew here. And how did I get this channel? From the top at 64k, so this right here, and you can see that we also got a rejection from the channel also, and then I channeled it to the top that we just got right here. You can now see that the middle line of this channel is acting as support. Alright, so that's just for the channel. So if we're looking for support around this channel, so we should be saying that, okay, when the price comes around this 37,000, which is going to be in the middle of this channel, we can find support temporarily there, because this is also a horizontal line of support and the middle of the channel also, so there might be some support around there. Just something to keep in mind. So now let's move on from the channel and talk about these trend lines. This trend line also is just a trend line that I connected from this rejection right there, rejection, rejection, support, support. So also this is a place where we can find good support from this trend line. All right, it's just something to keep on your radar. Now this is going to be around the 38,000 region. So basically everything is still screaming downwards. We still have some bearish targets to come. All right, so now let's put off the trend line. Now let's look at this as an Elliott wave. Okay, so first of all, we have the possibility of this dump to be a 5-wave move to the downside. Now, in my previous video, I was saying that this is possible, that this is a 5-wave move to the upside or a leading diagonal, right? So if it's a leading diagonal, so that means we might either get a 3-wave continue, move to the downside, then continue higher. But do not pull out the possibility that this can also be a 5-wave move to the downside. So we can count this as wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3 is still in play. We come down, wave 4, and then come down for wave 5. However, I am not leaning this way, guys, and I'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. Alright, so now if we put that out, you can see that also inside this structure we're getting a 5-wave move, which is a wave 3, and the wave 3 is normally an impulse, so we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this makes this actually valid, and inside that we're getting also a 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside the 3 of the 3. I don't want to make things complicated because this is not the way I'm leaning, so I'm just going to take this all off, but it is a possibility that we come down in 5 waves rather than 3 waves. What I'm focusing on right now, based on my bias in this video, is a 3-wave correction. First of all, I'm going to explain everything, guys, so just stick with me in this video. So now I'm going to put that off. Now what we can also see, which is the way we can also go down, is in a leading diagonal. Now this is my preferred bias, and this is where I'm leaning towards, because with the way we've wasted time, I think this correction right here is a leading diagonal. Now let me show you what I mean by a leading diagonal. So put this on and put this on and then put that on. So you can see right here that what we're forming currently is a leading diagonal, a possible leading diagonal. Alright, so now this being, let me bring this out. So this being our wave 1, right? We've gone up for wave 2, wave 3, came down for wave 3. Now this is our wave 4. Now why does it classify to be a leading diagonal? It is because the wave 4 is overlapping with the wave 1, which only happens when it's a leading diagonal. This is why I think this is the most likely scenario playing out currently. So if this is a leading diagonal, we should be coming down lower to break this previous low for our wave 5. And you can see that the support of 0.618 and support and resistance line is still around the targets of my wave 5. I'll show you guys how I got the targets of this wave 5, but this is what I'm currently leaning towards. This is what I think is playing out. I think we're having a diagonal in this correction. Now, what is the possibility? What are the probable outcomes if this is a leading diagonal? Now, this can either be an ABC. So this whole 5-wave move, which is a leading diagonal, can either be an A move, right? And we come up for a B move, then come down for a C move. So basically, this whole move would give us an ABC. This is a very, very high possibility. If we get an ABC, it is possible that after a correction, this would probably give us our wave 2, because this would be our wave 1, right? This is going to be our wave 1, and this would be our wave 2. Then we move up for a wave 3, which is probably going to go very, very high to maybe probably break the previous all-time high. This is a possibility, but until we get to this point, and then we start seeing the way we're moving out from here, that's when we can determine if we're going for a wave 3, alright? Because a wave 3 should be an impulse, it should be very, very fast. But until we get down there, we cannot really know what is the possible outcome. Now also, even if we're bottoming around here to set a higher high in the price, it doesn't move. It doesn't mean that we're out of the range of the bear markets. All right, because now let me give you guys a bigger picture. So this can simply mean a 5-wave move to the downside, a 3-wave move to the upside. So what I'm saying is that if this was a 5-wave move, right, this can either be an A, B, C. All right, I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope I'm not confusing you guys with so much ABC. What I'm trying to do is show you guys how we can possibly correct, how this whole correction can possibly be playing out. All right, so this can still be an A, B, C, and then we top around here, and then we probably come down lower to maybe the 20k range. If we move like this, it is possible that we move like this. Now let's forget about this scenario. This is not what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking for the immediate future of Bitcoin. This is just a possibility. This ABC thing is a possibility. Oh guys, now let's look at the more bearish scenarios, right, of this being a leading diagonal. So if this is still a leading diagonal, it can either lead to an ABC or the wave 1 or 5-wave of an impulse move to the downside. So this can either be an ABC or it is a wave 1, 2, then we come up again after the leading diagonal for wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, I hope this makes sense. This is very, very possible. This is very, very possible. I think this being a leading diagonal can either set us up for a 3-wave correction or a 5-wave correction. So we need to consider the ABC of this correction as much as we are considering the 5-wave move to the downside. So leading diagonals can also be the beginning of impulse moves. So basically this leading diagonal can be the wave 1. I might just change the color so you guys can understand what I'm saying. So this can be the wave 1. All right, the wave 1. Then we bounce up after this leading diagonal, because definitely if this is a leading diagonal, we're going to have a reaction to the upside, and then we get a bounce maybe towards this rejection zone, this resistance line, or maybe here. Then we get a bounce to this point, and then come down for wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. This is a possibility. So basically it can be an ABC correction or a 5-wave move correction. Both are still in play. I think we're going to get some kind of reaction around the 37 to the 38k range. So this is a very, very important region for you to pay close attention to. I'm going to be looking for long positions around the 38k range, because I think this is a leading diagonal. This is what I'm leading, right? As a trader, you make certain decisions and you stick to it. Because I'm seeing this with my clear eyes to be a leading diagonal, then I would want to trade it based on it being a leading diagonal. I hope that makes sense, all right? So after the completion of this leading diagonal, which this is a strong support, by the way, so I'm thinking that we're going to get a bounce like this, a 3-wave bounce like this. So this would be an A, B, C. All right, an ABC correction to the downside, or a 5-wave move like we talked about. All right, if this is an ABC, I want to play it accordingly. And now, which brings us to the harmonic pattern, which is even another great confluence for me to lean towards this being a leading diagonal, because this pattern is a counter trend pattern. All right, so basically after the completion of this harmonic pattern, we should be getting a reaction, a form of a correction. It is a counter trend, remember. So that means if we're heading towards this pattern, the termination of this pattern, we should be having a pump to the upside, and we should not be going lower based on this pattern. So that's why I'm leading this to be a leading diagonal. Now let's bring up the harmonic pattern. Now guys, this would be a bullish butterfly pattern, right? So now we can take this out. We now have our harmonic pattern right in front of us. So now this harmonic pattern is what I talked about in the Facebook group right here, and I was like, possible bullish butterfly pattern on BTC USDT. I gave the entry and everything we talked about already in this video. So I took a short trade around the 43,799 ish, and currently I'm up by a couple of percent, and I'm still holding the trade. I gave this signal in the Facebook and Telegram group. For those who are not following, please do so. These signals are for free, and of course you need to do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. Whatever I put out there is just my idea and what I'm looking forward to trade. If the signals are going to help you make money, I'm very, very happy to drop these signals. But remember, without knowing how to trade, you can also lose your money. So that being said, this was the signal that I gave out in the Facebook, the cryptocurrency, and also the Telegram. So please do so. Join the channels. The link is going to be in the description. I was talking about this being a possible bullish butterfly. So I already mapped out the targets, and our targets for this bullish butterfly should also be around, it's also around the 37,700 range. All right, which is around there. You can see it. So this is why I placed this trade. This is why I placed the short trade. So basically I want to ride the trade down, because I think we're in a downtrend, we're going down, and then take profits from my shorts around this region. So basically I'm in profits and I'm trailing my stops, and right now my stop is in profits. So basically right now I can't lose any money on this trade. All right, my stop is in profit right now, and I'm looking to take full profits from the trade when we get to the 38,000 region. All right, so I think if we break this green line of support right here, then we're going to have a steady decline in the price, because this is a huge support. That is why I think the price is still currently having some demand. All right, basically. But when we break this line, I think the demand is going to be lesser and the supply is going to be even more. All right, now we can also look at this from different perspective. This can also be a descending triangle. You can consider this to be a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern. So everything is still pointing down. Okay, now that being said, we now have the targets for the bullish butterfly, which is around 38,000. So from here I'm looking to place a long trade. I'm looking out for bullish signals, probably a bullish divergence on the RSI, an increase in volume. All right, an increase in volume, and basically just bullish signals. All right, as we're looking at this as a leading diagonal, we should consider this wick right here as support, and this other wick is support. So also on this line, on this white line, we should expect the price to touch this line and get a reaction, this falling support line. All right, so this is why I think the confluence of this horizontal line of support and the diagonal line of support, and also the targets of the bullish butterfly, everything is pointing to this range. This is why I think we're going to have a bullish reaction around this range. So based on this harmonic pattern, that is why I'm leaning towards this being a leading diagonal. All right, there's so many things pointing towards a reversal around this region. All right, so if this bullish butterfly is going to play out, that means we're going to get a bounce like this. If we get to this range, a bounce, right, if we get a bounce and we break through this white resistance line right here, that classifies this to be a leading diagonal. All right, so now if this is a leading diagonal, or if we're getting a bounce based on this being a bullish pattern, it doesn't mean we're going to get a bounce like this and just keep going up. It is called a leading diagonal for a reason, because it is the beginning of an A wave, of an ABC move to the downside, or the beginning of an impulse wave move to the downside, like I said. So that means this is just going to be the beginning. So if we're getting a bounce like this, all right, it means that after we get this bounce, we should be getting a continuation to lower targets, which is probably going to be around the 0.786, like I said already, which is a strong support and resistance line, which is 33,800 ish. All right, so guys, this is my analysis on Bitcoin. This is what I'm looking out for the medium stroke long term, right? Because this can take till the middle of October to play out. All right, this is what swing trading is all about. You hold a very good position, you hold it for a long time, and it's going to make you a lot of money, and it's going to reduce your risk tremendously, and basically make you not to overtrade. All right, that's the way I trade. That is the way I would recommend anyone to trade. Guys, you see what you get here on this channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment below, tell me what you think about this analysis, leave something encouraging, share this video with your friends. Don't forget to tell them to subscribe, and also join the Telegram and the Facebook group for free. All right, this group is going to be moving into a private group very soon. Once we hit a certain amount of members in the group, we're going to be moving to a private group. All right, so basically all you need to do is join now to be an early bird. The groups are going to always be free for the initial members of this group. So basically the family is going to be free forever, and then when we get a certain point, it's going to be private and paid. All right, so basically take advantage of this, guys, and don't forget to trade safely. Also, the link to opening a Binance account is in the description below in case you want to start leverage trading. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take good care of yourself, trade safely, and peace.